Alright guys, today I'm going to be doing a video on my trade today for CPI. Very nice and simple trade. I'm going to be breaking it down on this website called Beaveron. It just allows me to use replay for TradingView. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. So, first of all, starting on the weekly, on the DXY, what can we see? Where the hell am I? So, what can we see? Yeah, we're in a weekly fair value gap. Alright, first of all, we're in a weekly fair value gap. Now, obviously, for the past 2 weeks, we dug into this fair value gap, okay? We dug into this fair value gap, but we've failed to displace to the upside. We've failed to come and seek out the next draw, which is over here, right? Because remember, liquidity concepts, they're very easy. One liquidity point to the other, okay? So preferably, when we dug into this FEG, we should have gone to the next draw, but no, we didn't. What we did do instead, we dug into it, came up a bit, dug into it again. As you can see, yeah. So there's two candles that dug into it, and that means that it's accumulating. So typically, what will always happen is price will manipulate to the upside, and after that, it will take out any liquidity that's within the FEG, and it will tap into the weekly 50% of the weekly fair value gap. So simple as that. That's what it is. Okay, that's the main reason behind my trade. Obviously, I know that there's a monthly gap here, which is our draw. There's equal highs up here, which is our draw, and we tapped into a weekly fair value gap. Obviously, we want to look for longs. But if you actually know how to read price, and you can read it, you have a good read on price. Basically, you'll understand that once we dug into it twice, I know that it is just accumulation. I know that we're going to sweep this after manipulating to the upside. We're going to sweep it, and yeah. Now, going to the lower time frame. Let me just switch tab. What can I see? Okay, I'm on the daily right now. And what can I see? Daily order block right here. Okay, there's a daily order block right there, and so let me replay. So there's a daily order block right there, and also we have swept previous weekly high. Okay, so at this point in time, we've swept previous weekly high. Now, by the way, any trades that are within this range right here, let me just mark it out. Within this range, I do not want to take. That's a very low probability. Any trades that are within this range, I don't want to take. I want to wait for a sweep of this high, okay? Now, by the way, it could have potentially been longs. The only time that I would have taken longs if it had displaced through this high. If it had displaced through this high, then I'm confident to take longs. However, in this case, yeah, it swept it, created a high of the week, and that's why I took shorts. And I was confident that this is our next draw, okay? However, easily could have displaced, and then obviously target our monthly fair value gap. All right. So let's just see what happens. Actually, no, first of all, I just want to go over this trade which my friend took, alright? So he saw that, price tapped into our daily order block, and he wants to look for shorts. Fair enough, okay? He's quite a new trader, so, I'll give him that. He understands where price wants to go. He understands where is the next draw, okay? So that's fair enough. He wants to, he saw a daily order block tap, he saw displacement, and he saw, that this is the high of the week, okay? This is the supposed high of the week. Now, he took his trade, and obviously, he got absolutely finished. Okay, I don't know where he was going to target. He got absolutely finished. But why is that? The reason being is simple. Because we're stuck in this range. We're stuck in this range full of chop. Okay, we're stuck in this range full of chop, as you can see. So all I was waiting for is a sweep of that high. So that's all I did. Sweep of the high, and then it displaced. And over here, technically, it would be the high of the week, but the reason why I didn't take my trade from here, purely because the stop loss was too small, okay? Now, yes, it would be valid, but I'm not really comfortable taking that. I wanted more confirmation. So simply, all I did, I just wanted to wait for more confirmation, more displacement, and specifically, I wait for the high of the day. So I just simply went to the hourly time frame, and I'm just looking for when is the high of the day created. Cool. I'm playing price, playing price, playing price. Nice. What do I see? Tap into 1 hour FEG. Creation of 1 hour order block. Simply, this is the high of the day. And this gives me that confirmation that also, this is the high of the week. Does that make sense? So simply, that's all I did. Manual execution. Stop loss at high of the week. Because I'm in a swing position. Because there's CPI later. Because there's PPI later on in the week. And I simply target this low right here. Target low hanging fruit, okay? I don't want to target for the aim, for the moon and the stars. I don't want to target down here. I want to target for whatever I get, which is over here. Closest point in liquidity. And as you can see, TP bang in one trade, CPI, okay? Let me show you the trade on EU. Boom, super simple, super easy, repeatable, and that's it. Okay, so this was the position for the week. This was the swing position for the week. All right, now I did see a lot of traders, they took longs, okay? At first I was like, why the hell would you take longs? And then I realized, okay, yeah, it does make sense, but also it doesn't make sense because we swept, you know, a significant point of liquidity whilst being in an order block. So let me just run you through, you know, what they were thinking. I think Trade Bunny also took this, but let me just run through what these guys were thinking. Okay, so over here, yeah. All right, cool. So obviously we're in a weekly FEG. We're in a weekly FEG on the DXY, and you know we want to look for longs, whatever. You know, they're still targeting this high up here. But yeah, let's just see what they were thinking. So over here, we tapped into some sort of daily PD array. You could say this week, this daily FEG. Okay, so we tapped into it. Now at this point in time, they're probably looking for the low of the week. Okay, so for the low of the week, their low of the week was probably over here. Okay, and when is the low of the week confirmed? When a bullish PD array is created or bearish PD array disrespected. So they wait for a bullish 4-hour fair value gap, as you can see, created right there. Now they all have their limits on this fair value gap. Okay, they have this limits. They have their limits on that fair value gap, and their stop loss is at the low of the week. Okay, and they're targeting the monthly FVG. Okay, they're targeting the monthly FVG. All right, and the reason and the problem with this setup is, yes, it's valid in a way, but you're not truly reading price. The main reason why this is a very poor setup is because, look, we've swept out of the range. We've swept previous weekly high. Very significant point of liquidity. Not only that, remember, we're in a daily order block at this point. We're in a daily order block. Bear that in mind. Plus, what else? There's so much liquidity down here. Why? And how do we know that this is accumulation? Well, because if we go to the weekly on the DXY, tapped into it, stabbed into our weekly FEG multiple times, but it failed to distribute higher. Okay, so this just shows that price is inefficient. Price is lacking the volume. So what does it tell us? This is all accumulation, and it's going to be swept. So there's a lot of liquidity below. We've tapped into a daily order block, and we've swept previous week high. Doesn't this make this position stupid? Yes, it's valid, but I don't think it's a good setup at all. As you can see, it just gets stop loss. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That was the reason why I took shorts. I hope you guys understand. I hope that video was beneficial. Quite a short video, but beneficial. If you guys ever have any more questions, then you know, the Discord link is in the bio. All for free. Nothing to sell. Just free source. No gatekeeping. But yeah.